Greetings, seniors. I hope this video finds you doing well. I missed you as always. Welcome back. I know it's frustrating that we don't actually get to interact in person, but I just want to say thank you for all the work you've done already just in our remote learning. You're doing a great job engaging with challenging text, Shakespeare. So just like I've been doing in the past with these video lessons, I want to start just by taking stock of where we are and really going through a calendar of the next 3 to 4 weeks, and then give you a chance to talk about how you are going to do your research with Shakespeare and prepare for the AP exam. So without further ado, let's check it out. All right. So if we look here at our calendar, right now we're here Thursday the 16th. We're going to talk about basically how you can enter the larger conversation about your play. Some gentle research, 3 sources. I'm going to show you how to use those sources. You're going to, basically your homework assignment is to just give me a few notes on the sources you've been reading and write a research question. So that next week you can be working on an analysis, a piece of analysis. Now, what you'll notice as you go through this calendar is that there's going to be a balance, right? We're going to kind of be tracking back and forth between 2 things, right? One is going to be the Shakespeare multi-genre project, which you've already done work on. You should have finished reading the play over the break. You've got these 3 genre pieces. If you haven't, again, catch up on that. You've got time to do that. But then also, we know we've got our AP exam coming up. And that exam, if you got my email from before the break, is only going to be 45 minutes long, and it's on a prose fiction analysis, right? So this is like what we practice when we're doing our short story unit. You're going to get a passage. It's going to be like a page or 2 in length, max. You're going to read the passage, and you're going to respond to a prompt in 45 minutes. So if you look at our calendar over the next 4 weeks, basically, leading into that test, we will do 1 day mini lesson on Shakespeare, and then 1 day on the FRQ, or free response question, particularly practicing prose fiction. So you'll have 3 opportunities to get lessons from me, get feedback on me on how you did on each of those tests, and that will be on like the AP Classroom College Board site, so that you can see how it's going to be on the actual test, and you can improve your week to week. So you can see that when we go next week, we're going to continue working on genre pieces for the multi-genre project and doing FRQ again, multi-genre piece. And then we'll do this FRQ, and then this is the date you should put on your calendars, right? The 13th of May is that AP exam for English. It's only going to be 45 minutes at 1 p.m. And then we will, closing out after the exam, we'll celebrate, by reading our Shakespeare projects, and then we'll do something cool to close out the year. But I'm going to have that TBD right now. So that's overall calendar. But let's talk about today. So you've had the opportunity to read your Shakespeare play on No Fear Shakespeare. Hopefully, if you did your homework assignment over the break, you finished reading your play. So you're like, okay, I've got Shakespeare down. I feel like I'm understanding what's going on. Great. Now, a big part of taking a literature course in high school or in college, but especially in college, which you all will do, is you want to enter a larger conversation about your play, right? So you now have 3 different sources that I want you to consider for generating a research question, right? One of those sources, I'll just show you for me, because I'm going to model this with Lear, is your folio or study pack, right? So this is for me. I did King Lear, and I have this cool program from the King Lear when it was produced in 2013 at this theater, the Abbey Theater. In addition, I've also given you a link to, ooh, this is cool, Shakespeare Uncovered, which was a beautiful PBS program that looked behind the scenes with scholars and actors at all the different plays. If you scan down this website, there'll be a link on Unschoology in just a second, or just after this video is done. You've got all sorts of different plays and little moments within the plays. And there's these little videos, they're between 2 and 5 minutes long, that just explore specific moments in your play. So that's going to be another source that will help you enter the conversation. And then also I want you to do some academic reading. So the British Library has this great resource of short articles. They're only like 2 to 4 pages long, just about different elements of plays you're reading. Now, you should have, between these 3 sources, you definitely should be able to find at least 3, because everyone's got a folio, right? So you can use this as one. I would say 90% of the plays are here on Shakespeare Uncovered, and 90% are on the British Library site. So if for whatever reason your play doesn't show up on one of those, you could double up, right? You could say do 2 articles here, or 2 little video things here, or 2 pieces from the folio. But you should have 3 total pieces that you're looking at, and then you're just going to take some notes. So let me give you an example. So again, I said mine was King Lear. Some of you are also doing that. Not too many of you. I think 2 or 3 of you are doing that. So I read, I watched the PBS thing, and the PBS thing was about this crazy scene in King Lear where one of the characters, Gloucester, gets blinded. His eye is actually gouged out by one of the villains, Cornwall, the husband of Regan. And there's a famous line, "Out, vile jelly." And that video was just talking about, Shakespeare's really interested in us confronting the worst parts of our human nature. So that was, I just put the title of the video. I gave myself the link, so I have that when I'm citing sources later, and then just a line that struck me, right? So very short. I don't want you to have to feel like you got to summarize the whole article, but that might be something I'm interested in for a research question. The other one I did was from, again, here, British Library, and it was a short article called Character Analysis, The Villains in King Lear, and then it named these 3 villains. And the article said this, something really interesting. The villains in the play have much more to say than the good characters, and Cordelia is one of the best characters in the play. If you've read it, she barely speaks at all. Interesting, right? So that struck me. So I just wrote that sentence out there. Again, you're just going to write a sentence or 2 that struck you, that we were like, I want to explore this a little further. And then finally, and you'll see I'm starting to home in on something that I'm interested in for a research question. When I looked here at the folio, there's a page of the folio. Again, you don't have to read the whole thing. You're skimming, you're looking for something that you're interested in. There was a page that had all these creative Shakespearean insults in the play. And I noticed that all the insults were by the good characters. None of the villains had insults. And I wondered, why is this? Okay, so I'm modeling exactly what I want you to do. So that process, it took me 20 to 30 minutes max, right? I spent about 10 minutes either watching or reading the piece, and then I just wrote down a note. So that first part of it will take you about a half an hour, right? You read or watch your source, and then you just write down an idea, okay? So that's the first step. The next step, though, is now we want to say, okay, so can we enter the larger conversation? So what I'd like you to do is you go ahead and you can copy your notes that you took, and then you're going to get a document like this from me. It's called Sharpening Your Research Topic. And this is how you're going to try to enter the larger conversation. Right? You're going to ask yourself, as you're narrowing down your question, are you truly interested in the topic? Do you have access to enough information to answer it? Is the subject limited enough? Is there a human element to the topic? Because again, this is part of your multi-genre project. It's an analysis genre within the overall project, right? Okay, so I can put that above, right, all these notes, because eventually these notes and this question is going to go to turned in. So I've got those up here, and then I'm going to turn here and I'm going to say, okay, how can I narrow down this research that I've been doing so that I've got a question that I could do some writing on next week? Well, it seems like something that I'm generally interested in are bad people versus good people in King Lear. It seems like that's kind of a general subject. Specifically, language of bad people versus language and actions, because there's the blinding of Gloucester I talked about, and actions of good people. So I'm just kind of narrowing down. This is just spitballing, right? Don't worry about this being perfect or not. You're trying to get down to something manageable, right? Again, it's clear I'm interested in it. You can see that just by my excitement about it. But I'm also trying to get to this third part. I'm trying to limit it, so it's not like I'm talking about everything in the play. So focus or special interest, insults by good characters and the bad characters, and bad actions by bad characters. It seems like that's kind of where I'm going with this. Now, how can I make that into a question? Well, what if I said, so it says here, after brainstorming these boxes, state your research topic as a question, then submit it to Mr. Zion and turn it in. So that's what I'm going to work on right now. So it seems to me that I'm really interested in how Shakespeare shows goodness and badness in Lear, and especially through words and through action. So what if I said something about this? Can I get it? Okay, there we go. I can get it. How does Shakespeare portray goodness and evil through both insult and action in King Lear? This isn't perfect, right? And part of the process is going to be when you give me, your page of notes and you give me your question. This is the start of a conversation, right? But I think I'm entering a conversation, and I'm going to look at that. Okay, so am I truly interested in this topic? Check. Yes, absolutely, I am. Do I have access to enough information? Yeah, I mean, I already found 3 sources that all address this issue, through the British Library article, the PBS video, and then the folio. So yeah, I've got access. Is the subject limited up? This might be the one where I might have to zoom this in a little more, where, you will get to zoom this in more through conversation with me. But I think I'm getting to it, right? Maybe I'm going to focus more on insults or more on actions. But right now, I kind of want to study a couple of things, right? So I think I've got to start here. And then, is there a human element to the topic? Is this going to fit with a passion I have about Lear when I'm doing my overall multi-genre project? I think, yeah. I mean, this play, as that video suggested, is all about human beings confronting the worst parts of their nature, and as superhuman. I mean, not superhuman like Superman or Superwoman, but it's very relatable. So yeah, I think I get a check on these ones. And so this is what I would do, right? I have my sharpening of research topic. I've pasted in just my notes that I did in that half hour of research. And then, I did my narrowing with these boxes. And then I've got a question, right? And I'm going to submit this and turn it in by Friday evening by 11:59. And then I'm going to get back to you guys. So that's really what we're looking at right now. How are we doing? So I'm going to attach all those documents. So you've got them, my model. I will attach the links to British Library, to PBS. I'm going to attach, you've already got the folio. I sent that out last week. But just dive in, right? You're going to start noodling around, thinking about what's interesting about my play. What is a scratch that I want to itch? That's really what you're thinking about for now. So if any of this is not hitting home for you or not making sense, don't hesitate to reach out to me via email. But it is great to be back with you all. All right, we'll talk soon.